Good afternoon, ladies and gents. This is MaximusBlack.
And Novawar.
And we're bringing you another normal game sent in by the fans at Replays.LifesAGlitchTV at gmail.com.
Mr. MaximusBlack.
Yes.
Could you please hit me up with the noise of an overweight cat trying to get up onto the bed? This is hissing at...
Well, he's pissed he can't get up.
Oh, he's sour about not being able to get up on that bed?
Yep.
Happens. Stop here in the top... Wow, is this really Antigua Shipyard again?
It really is. We're
wow.
on that Antigua tip today.
Alright, we're on that Antigua tip today for sure. Up here at the top position of Antigua Shipyard, we're looking at the red Zerg Ponzer. Or the Onzer, depending on how you pronounce that. Some people go either way. And down here in the bottom left position, we're looking at the FATcat.
Cool name.
FATcat, daddy-o.
I'm going to move my phone.
Yeah, no, that's a good idea.
There we go.
There we go. Now we're not going to get...
So, PVZ on Antigua, the last couple of games was PvP.
Can you say Forge Fast Expand?
Yes, I can. And he's going to do it the big wall-off way, which is the way I do not like.
So you like to put it over close to the ramp and do
right here.
The wall there?
Do the wall here. I just find it easier to defend if you get 6 pooled or anything like that. I just find it I just find it much easier. Don't ask me why, I just do. Some people harp and say that, yeah, no, this is the way you should do it. Others say, nah, go here.
Probably just preference.
It is preference.
Because you're accomplishing the exact same thing.
But
so,
more and more people are starting to do it over here, I've noticed.
It's probably also because it is a shorter distance to get new units in behind that wall if necessary. That's the only thing I can really think of. But at the same time, you can probably do high ground if you're defending the ramp. In any case, one way or another, we're looking at a very standard opening here for the Zerg. Probably that 14 pool, going to get that hatch over there. It looks like they may or may not have a drone waiting for that right now over at the natural expansion. At the same time, we have the drone down here scouting that there is, in fact, a Forge Fast Expand in production here for the FATcat. So he's going to know what to expect here. And I'm also going to go out on a limb and say that there's a possibility of, there could be a Cloudy with a chance of Roach Rush.
Ooh, Roach Rush, you think?
That's possible. I mean, it's very common against the Forge Fast if they want, if they're terrified that the game's not going to, if the game's going to go poorly. But if he's going to expand also here, then that's basically going to shut that down.
Well, it's a possibility. Roach Rushes. I think he's probably going to double expand, just because.
Oh, if he's expanding now, he's not going to Roach Rush.
This is going to be delayed so much. I think. Well, he just dropped down the hatch there. I wouldn't be surprised if he didn't shut down another hatch right away.
I was expecting if that probe delayed it for so long that he might actually just skip the expansion and go into the Roach Rush.
Sometimes that happens. Sometimes you can piss them off enough where they're like, okay, you know what? Sure, I'll do that to you. But there's no gas here. There's no major tell of any kind of aggression. He's obviously not going to have metabolic boost because there's no gas, and he's still just getting drones. So I'm telling you, it'd be pretty dumb for him not to grab a third at this point in the game. Down bottom, the FATcat just walling off. A couple of wings managed to get in here. Going to be able to cause a little bit of havoc. He might be able to pick off maybe a probe or two, and he's not paying attention down here. Will get one probe.
There we go.
And may get another one. It's going to be close. Yes, you will.
There we go.
2 probes, so that kind of paid for itself right there.
Definitely paid for itself. That more than paid for itself, actually. And there is the third, of course, without seeing any of those gas going down there for the Onzer. It would have been very odd for him not to double expand, and there is the extra hatchery now.
Yep.
And so we are definitely looking at at certainly 12 or 11 minutes before we see any major attacking happening here. We're going to go into the mid game.
Yeah. It looks like we're just going to do a little bit of wall off. That is not a good wall.
No.
That's actually a really bad wall. He blotched that up quite a bit, but whatever. We give him a X for effort.
An X for effort.
Yeah. That's on the high end of bad mark.
Oh.
Z being...
Oh, I was expecting to go like all the way to Z or Z.
Well, whatever what is the right way of saying it? Z or Z?
Oh, the States it's Z, and here technically it's supposed to be Z.
I always say Z.
But Z just sounds stupid to me, so I say Z.
Z does sound stupid. Z sounds like a word.
Although sometimes I actually I'll go back and forth depending because I've heard both so many times.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'll accidentally drop that.
Like when I think of Z, I think of Z-E-D.
Yeah, that's what
I don't think of the letter Z.
When you say Z, you don't actually think in your head Z or Z-E-E. See, I just said Z.
Yeah.
See?
Anyway, whatever.
Anyway, words.
Right. So,
letters.
Holy Queens, we got a bunch of queens out on the field, 4 of them to be exact. We're starting to do a little bit of creep spread. A couple of extractors went down. So,
a proxy pylon right outside the third, and I think he's sending some stuff down.
Wow. Yeah, that's going to fall.
Yep, that's going to go down really quick.
Yep.
And he's going to cancel it. Y is canceled. That probe will go down.
That's a bit of an aggressive pylon. All you need to do is, there it is.
There it is.
I read my mind.
Yep.
This is when I'm playing Zerg on this positions, besides the fact that it's close, as long as you can do a proper wall off, which is what he doesn't have, this is best case scenario for Protoss, because you've got that ability to be able to warp down here on the low ground and take out these rocks, and it's so easy to deny a third here or totally own a Zerg. Even if the Zerg has so many roaches, has you outnumbered by so much, as long as you can get inside here and hit force fields, boom, boom, it takes 2 of them to cut off this, you can do significant damage, and in fact, you can almost win the game here, because a lot of Zergs will overcommit. They'll run half their units back here, up here, and you can just start cutting things in half over and over and over again when you have a couple of mortals in the mix. But there is no robo here. There is one being built now.
Yep.
So this is pretty late. Usually when I do a forge fast expand, I like to go my forge. Where are we at? Oh, okay, we got a little bit of. Yeah.
He got a +1. That's why he's going for it right now.
He's got enough here to chuck down two force fields. So once he's done picking off, no, that's not a good force field.
No, it's not a great force field.
That one was a little bit better.
We're getting there. The Zealots are actually +1. I was just going to mention that he had just gotten that +1 attack, and he was going to push out here and see what he can do. He might actually get rid of a couple queens there. Some more Zealots being warped down from that
very
pylon.
Nice with these Zealots, a nice little timing push here.
Great timing push to get that out, and he might actually go and finish off his third as well.
He's going to definitely be able to do it, but there are some roaches coming out on the field now for PWNZOR, so unless he's got some really good micro, he's going to lose this third. Although the roaches are slowly coming up, and as long as he keeps reinforcing here with gateways, he does not have enough gate. He's only on 4 gates at 10 minutes into the game on 2 base. That is brutal. You know what? He could win the game here if he was on
6 or 7.
Yeah, if he was on 7 in a robo. He could definitely win this, and I'm kind of upset the fact he didn't warp in a couple of sentries, or even on this first attack. He could have taken these Zealots, ran them up here, boom, boom, force, and then picked this off, and then kept reinforcing that way. But you know what? He managed to kill, how many drones here? No, he only got 3. But he managed, I think he picked off 3 queens. That's pretty huge in itself.
That was the big thing. I think he might have even got 4 queens out of that, because I don't know if it was 2 queens that came down to help out in the middle, and then he also picked up the queen that just popped at the third. And so either way, it's 3. It's 3. Yeah, 3 queens is huge, especially. And now we're seeing these spine crawlers go down, and apparently this is the newfangled Zerg metagame, where it's spine crawlers all over the place in the mid map. You spread that creep, you drop those spines, and you use that to your advantage. In the mid and late game, especially I think even later game, it becomes even more useful.
Yeah, late game.
But for now, he's going to put some up there and help defend and hold this third up. He's going to have his units up here at the top in case those rocks fall. And we're seeing actually some Immortal come out, +2, and Blink on the way. So we're starting to slowly see the combination of units that the theFATcat is aiming for. But he's also got that Observer overhead, so he sees that he's going in the general right direction.
Yeah, you know, I'm not a big fan of getting spine crawlers at this stage in the game.
It's a bit too early.
Late game is great, and it's a huge tell for Broodlords. They need that big static defense to hold things off until they can get to that tech. See here, you know, that's 400 minerals plus the drones, and it's in a shit spot. You know, this still is wide open here. What are these spine crawlers going to do if the theFATcat decides to come and bombard this third? He's not going to be able to do anything. He's only going to be able to use this, these units here, and these are basically going to be a waste of minerals. That's 400 minerals that could have been put into layer tech, which is extremely late. It could have been put into more roaches. I'm sorry, I'm just kind of harping right now.
It's all right. It's okay.
Hey, you know, I'm not a fan of this right now.
It happens sometimes. We'll see if it comes down to the wire. The Protoss actually hasn't gotten rid of those rocks yet, so having those spines there even though it's not the greatest place to put them, is not really going to hurt them with those rocks still in play. But there is a very scary army. Not nearly enough Zerglings to help deal with this army right now.
No, I can almost say with confidence.
This is pretty much GG.
This is looking pretty bad.
Yeah.
The only way that this might work is if he's dumb enough to actually run into this.
Face first into those spines would be the only way.
If he does not kill this destructible debris and go up through that way, I would be very angry.
There we go.
These sentries not only are going to be huge for Guardian shields, but they're going to be massive for force fields. And look at that, he's picking up the spine crawlers moving. The observer is in position. Beautiful. So that observer doing the job. These spine crawlers are trying to go down. These immortals are going to be able to destroy them very quickly. Do we have blink? Yes, we do. Zealots in the front doing a lot of damage to those Zerglings. Still no Guardian shield up quite yet, but there is enough immortals to be able to tear apart all of these roaches. But I would love to see some dares the Guardian shield.
There we go. There's the Guardian shield. We're seeing a couple of blinks here and there. That was very nice. He attacked those rocks. He actually forced MaximusBlack to take up those spine crawlers, move them, and with that movement, then allow TheFATcat to move around to the front there and actually attack and do massive damage. And effing 7 gates so OP. Can we count the gates real quick?
I think he's on 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah.
There we go.
He's on 7, but it's a really
it's
a really late 7 gate.
Yeah.
If he's bitching and complaining about 7 gates at 15 minutes in,
no,
he's got to be messed up. And look at the macro of the TheFATcat. You know, he's been sitting on quite a bit of minerals the whole time.
A real 7 gate is, I mean, this is like 5 minutes off.
It's pretty late.
That's late.
It's pretty late.
He was still rocking, like we were talking about before. He was still rocking 4 gates.
He's just being a whiny bitch. Your spine crawlers were terrible. Your later tech was so late. You could at least have infestors out on the field by now. You're just terrible at this game, and I'm happy you lost. Whiny bitch.
This is an angry cast for you, isn't it?
Well, I mean, he just called them
this
the
is an
F word.
angry cast. Yeah, well, that's true. That's true. You should never.
He's sitting there complaining about things that shouldn't be complained about.
Yeah, no, this was a very late 7. It was a 7 plus robo at like the 14-15 minute mark.
Yeah.
Nothing really to be complained about there. That's actually just, and there was no scouting really to be done there by the Zerg. Not anything major. What did the Zerg even see out of the whole thing? What has he seen out of? That's the wrong.
Oh shit.
That's the. There we go. Yeah. Great.
Yeah. No.
Yeah. No. That's not helping you at all.
This game's still going on right now.
Yeah. No, it's still going on.
Yeah. You know, a lot of people complain about balances in this game, and I think the game is relatively balanced. Why people think that the game is unfair, like this scrub here complaining about 7 gate, is because what happens in Starcraft. This is a real-time strategy game. There was a nice attack here with those Zealots. The Zealots got rid of a lot of Lings, killed a lot of Queens.
They did exactly what they needed to do.
Slowed down quite a bit of those larva injects, which ultimately slowed down drone production, mining time, tech, all that stuff. So when damage happens at a certain part of the game, you're behind. And a person that's in the lead, his lead only grows exponentially
from that point. So earlier on in the game you are.
Unless you get extremely greedy and double expand or just drone like crazy and maybe get caught and lose, and then you can maybe come back if that doesn't happen, or you go all in. But if you play standard after you're done taking a beating, that lead that individual has is only going to grow more and more and more over time. It's gonna double and then quadruple, and then it's gonna seem worse and worse, which then means at a 12-minute push, what necessarily would only seem like half of the damage now seems like the whole world's coming in on you because he's got so much more.
Yeah.
Because of what happened earlier.
No, that's it. And the earlier it happens in the game, the worse off it is for you. And so having that happen. But you know what? At the end of the day, even though it was a little bit, it was a 7-gate robo, and it was a little bit late, but everything else was actually pretty damn textbook out of the TheFATcat for this. He did his fast expand. He did his +1 timing attack with those Zealots. He did that attack did exactly what it needed to do.
Absolutely. He did the 4-gate +1 timing attack with those Zealots. And Adam is definitely right. Nailed that.
And then once he had that done, he had the damage done. He got his army built up. He got his immortals. He kept he was scouting the whole time.
Yeah, no.
He had the observer over top of the army. He could see those spine crawlers down. He forced the spines to be moved. I doubt that was his ultimate goal. I think his ultimate goal was to get the army trapped up inside the third.
Yep.
It was just a bonus that the spines moved and allowed him to really concave that side and steamroll the MaximusBlack's army. But very well. I'm going to say aside from that timing, very well done by theFATcat. I don't have any major complaints.
I don't know what league this is in, but it seems like he knows a build, he knows timings, and he's working on it.
Yeah,
I mean, obviously there's holes in his game, but like everybody else, what he did, he executed it
very well,
brilliantly.
Yeah, no, it was well done. A good game all around. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that is another normal game sent in by the fans at Replays.LifesAGlitchTV@gmail.com. Hit that like, hit that favorite, make us money. We're selling out. Come at me, bro. I'll be at MLG in another week and a half. Seriously, come at me.
Week and a half, dude. We're 6 days away.
Math.
And by the time this game comes out, it'll probably be tomorrow.
How does it work?
1 + 1 is 6.
That sounds like math to me.